Welcome to Own the Chaos. The stock market is crazy and chaotic.
Crash. You son of
Oh, God. Hold on. Pause.
Brad and Fat Man Zoom are here to help you own it.
They were targeting Wall Street when they should have been targeting Capitol Hill. They should have been targeting DC. This is the same thing, and this is what people keep missing.
Taking it to the suits, being relatable and hilarious.
You bought GameStop at 400, didn't you? To the moon, baby. To the moon.
Get ready to own the chaos in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. That is Fat Man Zoom. It's Stock Watch Sunday, and the stock market is crazy and chaotic. We made it our mission to help you guys own it. Fat Man Zoom, why don't you hit them on with the starting five?
Starting five, we got Sam Cisneros, Funny Pranks Gone Wrong, Tiger's Edge, Allen 316, and my man Rudy Brown. Guys, thank you for getting here early and often. Welcome Tracy H. back. Welcome back to Level 1.
To the Chaos crew.
So join the Chaos crew. Guys, we have a lot to talk about today.
Tons.
First, we have the thumbnail pose off. Brad.
Yes.
Let's start right here. So we'll start here.
Camera one?
Yeah. Big earnings week. Let's just say earnings week. Earnings week. All right. Camera two. Camera two, we have topic today. Price predictions for August. Over under. Over under. What is that?
I don't know.
Next topic. Let's go to 3. Top stocks for August, baby. Woo! Yes. August is here,
I like
my friends.
it. I like it. Thank God July's over. Whew.
Yes. So, guys, welcome to Stock Watch Sunday. This is going to be tight today because we got a lot going on. So, as I said, we're going to be talking about all things August. We're going to have a new segment called Over Under.
Yeah.
You're going to give some price predictions. We're going to talk about earnings Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday primarily. And we're going to bring your top 10 stocks for August. So, guys, make sure you stick around. But first, breaking news.
Yes.
Oh, that's not that. That's not the right sound.
I feel like there's like a... Oh, there is a... This is a new soundboard. Hold on. What we got?
This is it. Hey, Square coming in with big news. Square was supposed to report earnings after hours on Thursday, but for whatever reason, they decided to bring in earnings now, and they had some big news. Brad, why don't you tell them what happened with Square?
Yeah, so Square, not only did they release earnings and they kind of disappointed it, from what I can see, revenue was down quite a bit, and then the big news, though, not really necessarily attached to the earnings, but it's a major acquisition. So they acquired Afterpay, which is an Australian fintech company. It's a direct competitor to one of our favorite fintech companies, Affirm, and is a buy now, pay later platform. Another one of those, and this seems to be the running trend. It's not surprising to see Square go after an acquisition like this. I am, however, a little nervous for my Affirm holding tomorrow. It's going to be probably a little bit of a rough day. I have quite a bit of Affirm, and so that's going to probably sting a little bit. But we'll see. You know, it could be wrong, could be a different reaction. But my first inclination is that probably some of the other fintechs related to buy now, pay later, probably going to take a little bit of a hit because Square is now teaming up with Afterpay. And I will say, though, that the amount that they're buying them for is around $30 billion, which is about 42 times their PE. So this isn't publicly traded in the U.S. It is publicly traded in Australia from what I understand, ticker symbol APT for you Australian traders. And so this will be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm not sure that Square's going to have a good day tomorrow. They came in with some pretty disappointing numbers as far as revenue is concerned, and now they're buying a company for 40 times their PE. I think that investors could potentially see this as a overvalued acquisition, Fat Man Zoom, and we've seen what happens to stocks when they do that.
Yeah, I mean, 2 examples that come to mind that are recent was Salesforce bought Slack.
Yeah.
That was a $27 million acquisition, so this is even more.
Yep.
And then more recently, Zoom had bought, what did they had recently buy? The Five9, right?
Yeah,
Five9,
Five9, yep.
which was about $14 billion. So you got a $27 billion, $14 billion. Same reaction, which was the market felt like they overpaid. One interesting fact, and this is Twitter info, so I hesitate sometimes to bring info, but I think this is actually correct, where for the same service, PayPal is Square's main competitor. There's no doubt about that. They paid it's going to be almost $30 billion, where PayPal, for their buy now, pay later, which they already have, which is homegrown, it cost them $50 million to create the same service in-house.
Yeah.
So there's a question like, so then how does, how do the competitors respond? I do think that it might be a choppy day for Affirm. How does PayPal respond? If you think that Square is going to have a tough day, what it sounds like you do, how do you think PayPal will respond to this news?
That's a great question. PayPal's already gotten kind of hammered last week because of their earnings. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We both love this space still, but I think it's going to be pretty choppy for them over the next couple of weeks at least. I just don't know how anybody would see value in this. And again, I could be wrong. There might be something that we're not seeing, but it just seems to me on the surface, on paper, this doesn't look like it's going to be a good day or a good week for either one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen. Now, the question then becomes, is this a dip buy opportunity, or are you going to wait around for a little bit?
I am glad you asked that. So we looked at Salesforce, right? And how that impacted the stock when they bought up Slack. It tanked, right? And now it made all those gains back and then some. Interestingly enough, and this isn't related to tech or fintech or anything like that, but do you remember when Callaway bought up the rest of Topgolf?
Yeah, yep.
And it tanked, right? It dropped like 30, 40%, and then it has more than doubled since then. So I think that there is going to be an opportunity. The immediate reaction might be a little bit tough, but I think that there will be a bottom in both of these, and they will be certainly worth grabbing. It's just a matter of where the bottom's going to drop on both of these, and really all the other fintech ones if they do respond in line with what we think is going to happen.
Well, and you currently have Affirm in your public portfolio, don't you?
Yes.
So does this change anything as far as you're concerned with Affirm?
No, it's gonna sting. I'm not gonna like it, and it's not gonna be fun. But I'm not gonna change a thing. I think the only thing that I would potentially do is maybe look for other opportunities to perhaps average down, because I know what Affirm's worth. We see Affirm all over the place now. They have earnings, I think, this month, if I'm not mistaken.
September 9th.
Okay, so yeah, and beginning of September. So I don't want to be out of Affirm leading up to that. I think that it's going to be a pretty solid earnings for them, and especially with the amount of retail spending we've been seeing. So I think it's still going to be worth holding on to. Yeah,
well, there you guys have it. We'll certainly keep an eye on it tomorrow. The earnings, they did beat earnings per share. So estimates consensus were 30 cents. It came in at 66 cents. So that is a little bit of a silver lining, waiting to hear on guidance. But that'll be pre-market tomorrow, guys. Keep an eye on PayPal, keep an eye on Affirm, and certainly keep an eye on Square. And don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, let's get into the real stuff that we came here for.
Yes.
We built. All right, guys. How many people we got in the house?
We got 114 of you guys hanging out with us on this Sunday evening, so we certainly appreciate that. 24 likes, though. If we can get those likes up, I think we could get another 100 out of tonight. Let me know, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you guys are enjoying the stream so far, and let's get to it, Fat Man Zoom.
All right, this segment, buy, hold, sell.
Yes.
Guys, if you saw it last week, we got another big week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm going to give you 10 stocks each day. Thursday, Friday are together, but 10 stocks each day. You tell me, if you were in this position going into earnings, would you buy more stock, so hold through, buy more stock before earnings? Would you hold through earnings, so keep your position, or sell before earnings? So buy, hold, sell.
Got it.
We're going to start with Tuesday. I'm just going to give the whole list, and then I'm going to break them down individually. We got Baba, Discovery, Under Armour, Nikola, Clorox, Marriott, Corsair Gaming, Activision, Skills, and Lyft. We'll start with Baba.
Let's do it. I'm going to bring up the chart. We're going to look at Baba right here. I don't know how. I mean, the risk reward is certainly really good on Baba. So I would say if you already own it, then I would just buy it here. And if it comes down, then I don't know. I wouldn't go crazy on it, but I think it's worth buying. The risk reward seems good.
Like that. Discovery.
Discovery, also same thing. This has been beaten down. It hasn't really recovered since the Arctic Ghost drama. I think this is a solid buy, especially with the Discovery Plus numbers that we could potentially see here.
Yeah, this looks like a great asymmetrical opportunity.
For sure.
Under Armour.
Under Armour, again, I think it's going to be a really good buy. This one also got beat down from its highs, which was the last earnings they had. If they follow in line with Nike, Crocs, some of the other Lululemon, some of the other retailers we've seen, that I would imagine that Under Armour knocks it out of the park here. I like this as a buy.
Nikola.
Is there a short option? So obviously we heard the news. We shared that with you guys. Last week about how Trevor Milton being indicted on 3 counts of fraud. Nikola trying to say they had nothing to do with Trevor Milton's doings, which we all know is bullshit. So I think that looking at Nikola, I would just stay away from this. Not going to buy it. I would sell it.
Sell. All right. Next one is Clorox.
Clorox is a buy, in my opinion. If people still feel like the Delta variant is going to be more serious, obviously Clorox went crazy during COVID for obvious reasons, the wipes, antiseptics, that sort of thing. But let's not forget, Fat Man Zoom, Clorox owns so many other brands, Hefty, Kingsford. So if you're doing other stuff that's like outside related, you're growing outside, I think that Clorox is certainly a good buy for a lot of those reasons.
Marriott International.
Marriott is going to be one that I think is going to be a buy. Travel in general is going to continue to roll here, and I think we start to see some really good numbers here in the late summer months.
Corsair Gaming.
Corsair is going to be interesting because we got good numbers from Logitech. I think that this is just a hold.
All right. I was wondering if you were going to give us a hold.
There were so many good ones that have been
It's
good
surprising
buys.
you're buying more into earnings. That's ballsy. Those are all pre-market after hours for Tuesday. Activision.
Activision is going to be a sell for me. We saw some drop-offs from Microsoft's numbers and their Xbox uses, and so users. I think that Activision is going to be one that I don't know if I'd want to be around, even though it's come down quite a bit. They've also got a lot of PR trouble, too.
Next one would be Skills.
Same thing. I don't know if I'd be around this one. I probably sell it as well. I don't really care for this stock. It's got a bright future, but I don't know if now's the time to buy it.
Do you want to pull it up on the chart?
Yeah, let's take a look. I had it pulled up. I don't know why. I must have accidentally deleted it. I would say that if it comes back to retest the $12 range, it could be a buy. I would stay away from it for now.
So it's a sell?
It's a sell, yeah.
Okay. Lyft.
Lyft is going to be a buy. I think we see some really good demand numbers from them, especially if it crosses over this 50-day moving average.
So those are 10 from Tuesday. We're going to move on to Wednesday. Again, buy more, hold current position, or sell existing position going into earnings. Wednesday, so pre-market we have GM, CVS, Royal Caribbean. After hours, we're going to look at Roku, Uber, Etsy, Fastly, Marathon Oil, Mercado Libre, and Wynn. So let's start pre-market GM.
GM is a buy. I think that if the numbers come in and they are anywhere near what Ford's was and the outlook is just as good, then I think that GM could potentially do a really great move, especially after the pullback from 64.
All right, CVS.
CVS is going to be something that I think that I would just hold. I'm not sure how they're going to react. Obviously, there's a particular catalyst with the vaccines and that sort of thing, but I'm not sure how well they'll do this earnings. We'll see, but I still like it as a hold. I wouldn't say sell.
Royal Caribbean, current position I'm in. I'm excited to hear what you have to say about this.
Yeah, interesting about this one. I don't know if we see much out of them as far as earnings are concerned, so I think I would just hold it, borderline sell, because the earnings aren't going to be anything that would make anybody happy. They're still burning through cash like crazy. Only positive thing that you could look forward to is that maybe they have some really strong numbers as far as reopening, but we've already seen some hurdles they've had to jump from people being required to be vaccinated and that sort of thing.
After hours, let's begin with Roku.
Roku, I think, this is really tough too. If they come out with earnings that are anything like Netflix's numbers, I don't want anything to do with Roku, but I still believe in the company. I think it's going to be a hold.
Uber,
same thing as Lyft. I think that this would be a buy going into earnings. It's had a pretty rough go at it since their last earnings, but I think that they could outshine this time around.
Etsy
is going to be something that I think that is a little bit worrisome for me. I don't know if I'd sell it, but I think I'd at least hold it. Definitely wouldn't buy going into here, especially since what we saw from Amazon.
Fastly's
been tough, man. I want to buy Fastly all the way down here. The cloud computing space isn't going anywhere. This was a darling in the during the pandemic because of the stay-at-home play, and we know that stay-at-home / hybrid isn't going anywhere. So I would say that it's a hold, but I'd definitely be ready to pull the trigger on buying this thing after earnings.
Marathon Oil.
Marathon Oil, I think, is going to be a buy. Demand for oil is just going to go crazy.
Mercado Libre.
Same thing as Etsy, same sentiments here. I think I'd hold it, but I don't know if I'd buy it going to earnings based off of what we've kind of seen already.
And last for Wednesday, we have Wynn.
Wynn Resorts is going to be something that I think could really be the risk reward here. We talk about asymmetrical trades. The risk reward here is pretty good. I like Wynn as a buy all the way down here at 98, especially with it coming down from 143. Looks a lot like Penn.
Now, Thursday, Friday. So I grouped Thursday and Friday together to give us 10 stocks. Thursday, pre-market Moderna, Virgin Galactic, Fiverr, Wayfair, Yeti, and Penn. After hours, BYND and Zillow. And then Friday, Canopy Growth Company, CGC, DraftKings, and Norwegian. So we'll start pre-market Thursday with Moderna.
Moderna is going to be a sell for me. I think that they could potentially do really well as far as the earnings are concerned, but this is overvalued. It's gotten way ahead of itself.
Virgin Galactic.
Virgin Galactic is going to be a sell for me as well. Yeah, they had a really good PR, especially with
Successful launch.
Yeah, the successful launch and all that. But their earnings are going to be trash.
All right, next one we have is Fiverr.
Fiverr is definitely something that I'm curious about because we saw some decent numbers from Upwork, and so I think that this could be something that I would. It's a hold. I'd be nervous about buying it, I guess, but it's definitely a hold.
Wayfair.
Wayfair is also a hold. Still, people are spending money like crazy and still trying to sell their houses. It's coming actually down to a really good buy level at 231. I love it down there. If it comes down to retest 231, I would be scooping some up.
Next, we have Yeti.
Yeti is definitely interesting. I think it's gotten a little ahead of itself as well. It hit all-time highs just 2 days ago. I'd sell it.
Let's go with Penn, big dog.
Oh, man. I'm always going to tell you to buy Penn, I think. This is ridiculous. It's coming. The forward PE on this is getting down to a point to where it's just really low, especially with all the numbers that we're seeing and the things that they're doing. Football season's coming up. I'd be buying Penn here.
All right, so then after hours, we have BYND.
Beyond Meat is going to be a sell for me. I think that the newness and the hype is wearing off on this thing. I don't know if the demand is as high as everybody thinks it is anymore.
All right, and then Zillow.
Zillow will be interesting as well. Obviously, we saw a huge the real estate market still on fire. The big problem is the supply issues, right? So that means that we're not going to see big, huge sale numbers of as far as houses are concerned. And we've seen that over the last several weeks that existing home sales are going down. That leads me to believe that Zillow may not do so hot here. I would not want to, I don't know if I'd want to be completely out of it though either. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a hold.
All right. Now Friday, CGC. These are pre-market, so Canopy Growth Company.
Canopy Growth will be interesting because Tilray had some pretty good numbers and pretty decent announcements as far as what they're looking forward to as far as guidance is concerned. I think that CGC, as much as this has gotten beaten down, the risk reward looks good. I would buy some.
All right, and then we have DraftKings.
DraftKings, same thing as Penn and Wynn, man. I don't know if I like DraftKings as much just because they spend money like crazy. I wouldn't imagine that their earnings are going to be good. So I'm just going to say instead of a buy, I'll just hold DraftKings.
All right. Lastly, we have Norwegian.
Norwegian Cruise Line is going to fall in that same category with Royal Caribbean. I think that their earnings are going to be atrocious. We'll just wait and see how what their guidance is looking like, how many people are really interested in going out on a cruise, and how many people are actually going to be able to as far as the vaccine's concerned. Are they going to have to prove it? All that good stuff. So I would be careful. Hold on to Norwegian. I wouldn't buy it.
All right, those are our predictions, buy, hold, sell for this week as far as earnings are concerned. Guys, make sure you stick around Monday through Thursday. We go live at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll be following up with these earnings as well as any other earnings we didn't go over. So every day after the bell, we're going to go ahead and watch the earnings reaction and give you guys the numbers. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell to just know when we go live.
Let's do it.
All right. The next segment, I'm excited for this. This is a new segment I'm bringing you guys. It's called Over Under. And we're really bullish on sports betting stocks. So
Yes.
I wanted to do this sort of like sports betting theme.
Yeah.
It's really price predictions for August. So what you're going to do is we're going to talk about, we're going to look at some technicals for stocks, and I'm going to give you 10 stocks. You're going to tell me if you're going to take the over or the under. So I'm going to give you a support and a resistance, and you're going to say by the end of the month, the stock will be under this number or over the number I give you.
Okay.
All right. So you're
Let's
just
do
going
it.
to pick your options.
Yeah.
So example will be, we'll start with the first one. Zoom will close August below 350 or above 400.
Ooh. Above 400 at the end of August.
All right. So taking the over. Amazon. And these ones, I should preface by saying I tried to group them together. So consider this, which is like the COVID, the Delta variant
Yeah.
with COVID.
Yeah.
So I brought a couple of these stocks because of that. Amazon below 3,200 or above 3,500.
Amazon. Oh man, this is tough. I'll go over.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's a little up in the air, but I'll go over.
Palantir below $20 or above $25.
Do they have earnings this month?
I believe they do.
Palantir.
Yeah, I believe they do. I believe they have them next week.
When was the last earnings? 5/12. So it's either this week or next week. So this month, yeah. I'm gonna say above 25.
All right. So you think they're going to do well for earnings?
Yeah.
Okay. They actually have earnings, just to give it to you, on the 12th. So next week. So the next one I brought because of Bitcoin. So crypto's been moving. Bitcoin broke the 40K.
Yeah.
So this all depends on how bullish you are on crypto through the end of the month. Coinbase below 220 or above 250.
Above 250. I think Bitcoin. The move has been made here, and I'm actually gonna just buy some this week. So I like Coinbase here. I think that Bitcoin continues to roll and do well for the second half of this year. I like Coinbase above that.
So far you're all overs.
Yeah.
All right, next stock. So now I'm looking at travel. Disney, you could say Delta because of streaming, but Disney's the next one looking in travel below 170 or above 200.
This is really tricky. The end of August. So the end of the year, I have it over two. Did you say 250?
200.
Oh, okay. The end of the year, I think it's going to be over 200. This month, I think it's going to be below 170.
All right, so we're going to take the under.
Yeah.
Airbnb below 125 or above 150.
Above 150. I think people are really going to start to warm up to the travel stocks.
Next one, sports betting. So online sports betting, we both are very bullish.
Yeah.
Penn's obviously our highest conviction. We really like MGM. But this month with football, one of the biggest sports there is as far as betting is concerned.
Yeah.
Should kick off strong. MGM, you know what? Pull up that chart because I screwed up.
That's right. MGM.
Okay. Sorry. Below 35 or above 45.
Ooh, man. I wish you'd have just given me 40. Is there a neither option or do I have to choose over under?
I'll do 40.
Okay. I think it's going to be
40?
over 40. Yeah.
All right, over 40.
Yeah.
Next, the eviction moratorium obviously ended.
Yep.
Possibility, maybe there'll be an extension, but technically it's ended. A lot of heat is coming to the administration because of that.
Yeah.
One of the stocks, housing could be affected, and we'll see how it's impacted. I wanted to give you Rocket, but I decided not to. Zillow has earnings this week.
Yes.
Below 100 or above 125.
Below 100.
Oof. All right.
It's tough. I mean, I really like the real estate, but I mean, until we solve this issue with not enough homes to be bought up, I don't see how Zillow increases the revenue.
All right. And then the last grouping, I have two stocks really based on the infrastructure play. So we should see the infrastructure deal pass most likely this week.
Yeah.
Thought it would be last week, still hasn't. First one we're going to say is Caterpillar below 205 or above 225.
Ooh, 205 is a 200-day moving average for Caterpillar. So it was below 205 or what?
Above 225.
Above 225? That would be a huge move for them, but it's close to the 50-day. I'm going to say above 225. If that deal goes through, Caterpillar should do really, really well.
Lastly, Tesla AI Day is in August 19th. So this seems very maybe easy for everybody, but I don't think this is an easy one. Below 650 or above 700.
I'm going to say below 650.
Do you think that before AI Day it hits 700?
I think it's possible because we already got close to that last week. But here's my thing, Fatman Zoom. And I know you recall this. Do you remember how brutal Battery Day was?
Yeah.
Do you remember how excited people were leading up to Battery Day?
Yes, I do.
And then the letdown after?
Yeah.
I think that we see the same type of reaction. If people haven't learned their lesson from Battery Day, we could see something similar. It gets all hyped up, and then AI Day comes, and everybody's like, well, this was boring, and I didn't understand any of it because it was way over my head. And I think that we could see a similar type of
response. Reaction.
Yeah, similar type of reaction. Yeah, to the AI Day. So I don't know if I'm a big fan of this. Maybe take advantage of it if you think there's going to be a run up into it, but I don't know if I would bank on Tesla going crazy.
I certainly have a lot of thoughts about this, but we're going to save it for our live stream this week. We'll certainly have a separate clip on Tesla AI Day and really the reaction as we lead into the 19th. And absolutely, we will be live for that. That's Over Under, man. That's the new segment. What do you think?
Let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you like it. First of all, leave a comment down below. But I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. If only we had a bonus.
We do have a bonus, actually, Fatman Zoom.
We do?
We do. We have a penny stock on the list. We have a penny stock on the list. Right now, it is valued below $3 and is actually a Fatman Zoom favorite. Fatman Zoom, it is Drive Shack.
Yeah.
Drive Shack has earnings this week. And we've been talking about some of the stocks that have gotten beaten down from the pandemic, and this is one of them. We look at the chart, and this actually has been hugging around the 200-day moving average with the reopening and all that good stuff. What are your thoughts on Drive Shack being below $2.40 or above $3 by the end of August?
This is a little bit tougher. If it was 270, it'd be a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
I'm still going to take the over, but I don't think it's as easy as it seems. So 240 is a great number as far as the support, because when they did their offering, that was what the pay was. That was the price per share. So that's kind of naturally acted as a support and shown really well. A lot of our Chaos Crew members have played this out. The only reason I'm hesitant on Drive Shack is because a lot of their cash flow came in previous quarters from selling some of their businesses. And so they're not going to get revenue from their golf courses. And also there's not yet revenue coming in from their puttery. So it's like this weird quarter where I don't know what they're going to report. And I worry that it's going to be a very underwhelming earnings. However, my hope is that they do give strong guidance moving forward because next quarter, all the putteries will be in.
Yeah.
So I still got to play the upside, and I'm going to play the $3, and I feel really good about it for the rest of the year, and I really think it's going to be a $5 stock by the end of the year, but I'll take the over.
I agree. I'm loaded up on Drive Shack to the moon, baby.
Where are we at as far as people in the house?
We just got over 190 of you guys hanging in here live, and 63 likes. So we're more than halfway through to our goal. If you guys could give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the stream so far. If you guys like the over-under, if you like all the stuff we're throwing at you so far, make sure you hit that thumbs up. You're getting value out of today's stream. And if you're not subscribed, you're visiting for the first time, make sure you hit that too, because we will be live Monday through Thursday to go over what's going on in the market. We'll give our stock market earnings reactions as well. Hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. You know what to do. But most importantly, hit that thumbs up.
As is customary, end of a month, beginning of a new month, it's time to discuss top stocks for August. So we're going to talk about your top 10 stocks. We're going to talk about the fundamentals. We're going to talk about the technicals, why you're watching them. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you a couple questions just as far as what you think is going to happen in the overall market come August. We saw July was choppy. We made it through. We survived. So let's get your top 10 stocks for August.
All right, Fat Man Zoom. We're just going to get this out of the way. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. It's Penn National, guys. Penn National, you guys know, I know it's been tough. Since March, it's done nothing but downtrend for the last 6 months. 4 months. So it's been really tough, but it has not deterred me in the sense of I'm ready to divorce myself from Penn National. I'm still holding strong. I've been adding to this. I actually added to it 2 weeks ago. And so I'm continuing to average down on this and come up with a really good average. And so I think with Penn National having earnings on Thursday, and we've talked about this a little bit earlier about how football season's coming up, and really that's where Penn National really shines. And it's not even necessarily the NFL, it's college football because of the Barstool Sports side of things that they can leverage. Barstool has a huge presence in college, so much so that now we just got word last week that the Arizona Bowl is going to be completely taken over by Barstool Sports. The ads, the commentary, the analysts, all that stuff, it's going to be completely run by Barstool. And I think this is a huge move for them. And we know how Penn National owns, was 35% of Barstool. And so I think that this is going to be interesting. It's not just about Barstool, though, guys. Everybody kind of looks over this fact because Barstool is just this big presence over Penn. But Penn National is the largest regional casino in the country. They have more casinos in more states than anybody else. And so we're starting to see things open back up. As demand continues to increase, people are throwing money everywhere because it's just everywhere. I think that we see pretty good numbers on that side of things as well on the brick and mortar side. So I think Penn National is definitely going to be one to watch for.
Here's what I'll say about Penn National.
Yeah.
Penn National, first off, August 12th, they have a new casino opening up in Pennsylvania. So we'll see the revenue from that. It should have a Barstool sports bar in there. So that'll be cool. Arizona is a great move. Arizona legalized sports betting in April this year.
Yeah.
So we like when sort of the starting line's the same for everybody. And the actual platforms haven't launched yet. So their goal is to do it by the beginning of football season. So this Arizona Bowl is really smart because Penn's gonna have first stab at that. So I'm excited about the Arizona move. And while on the surface it may not seem huge, I think this is gonna go a long way for them to sort of dominate Arizona and who knows, maybe take pole position.
Yeah. And we look at the chart here. Obviously, buying in the earnings does carry its own level of risk. But this seems like it's really kind of getting down into a buy territory at $66. It closed Friday at 68, which is a little disappointing, especially after it had a pretty decent run after it bounced off of the bottom at 63. But I think that we could potentially see a run into earnings on Thursday. It remains to be seen, but I'm very optimistic here on Penn. Next is going to be Palantir, Fat Man Zoom, and so I think that this will be interesting for Palantir. So. They have earnings this month, and they've kind of been a little bit just kind of under the radar after they've had some really monster moves when they first went public. When they first went public, it went crazy. And so I think that now that it's cooled off a little bit, we could see some promising numbers from them. Their plans to really kind of break into the commercial side of things rather than just rely on the government contracts has been really a pain point for them and an area that they've been really working towards as far as continuing to build that out. So I would be very curious to see how that looks, and I think that we could see some really good numbers from that. If we do, then Palantir should have some really solid moves overall. I really like the company, and I think that this is certainly one to be watching for in August.
Yeah, I like Palantir. You know who else likes Palantir?
Oh, Aunt Kathy.
And Kathy loves Palantir. So I do like it. I think there will be. I believe that after next week, there's going to be a tech spec move. I'm talking Palantir. I'm talking big commerce, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that if you're patient in Palantir, it will pay off. So it's going to be interesting to see. And Government contracts are the hardest to get, so I do think they cracked the code on the commercial side of things.
Yeah, and it's coming back down to a buy zone here. It's been in the low 20s. We liked it down here last time, and I think that this looks like a really good spot to at least accumulate or add to if you already own Palantir. The next one for me is going to be a Zoom, and Zoom's going to be one that of course, you love it. We know why, but I love it too. This has been a favorite on the channel for the last 18 months. I first started talking about Zoom being a solid buy down in the low 100s right as the pandemic started for the obvious reasons. Everybody's at home, and they were using Zoom like crazy, and the investors, mainstream media, whatever you want to call it, it's kind of like poo-pooed on Zoom because it's like, well, everybody's going back to work. They're not going to use Zoom as much. And we're starting to find out, and we've been talking about this forever, that we said that the work from home thing is not going away. They're not putting the tube back in the toothpaste at this point. And the best they can do is give a hybrid approach. And that's really kind of what it seems like it's going to happen. You go into the office maybe once or twice a week, if that, and then the rest of the time you're working from home. You're still leveraging Zoom at that point. And let's not forget that Zoom gave away their services for healthcare and schools, and they're ready to cash in on that. And I would expect them to potentially shed some light on that this quarter.
I'm really bullish on Zoom this month. I think the Delta variant is going to play into what we're already seeing as far as businesses walking back their return to work. So some businesses we're already seeing are saying, hey, you know what? Don't come back so soon. And so I think they're going to be a little bit more cautious moving forward. The one thing people need to consider is I think they need to separate their thought process behind whether they believe the Delta variant is legitimate or not, or how the response should be, and really think about how they think the macro response will be. So that's different. What you think the response should be is different, could be different than what actually happened. So whether you agree with it or not doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What is likely is because the response was so slow the first time, most local governments are going to just be overcautious. So it doesn't matter whether you think it's legitimate or not. It doesn't matter whether you're looking at the low death count. Governments are going to feel obligated to respond, in my opinion, and businesses the same way. They're going to keep it status quo before they're not going to force back.
Yes.
Get moving. So I think that's the response. And so if that does happen, I think Zoom will have a great month.
We're already seeing that from the likes of Google and some of the other big techs, Facebook as well. The ones that wanted the employees to come back, and now they're pushing the dates further back as well. So I agree 100%. We look at the chart here; it's still holding above the 200-day moving average rather well, and I think that this could be in the works of a cup and handle pattern. I like the bullish setup here on Zoom, and if you guys call it the over/under, I said that Zoom's going to be over 400 by the end of the month. I still stand by that. Like the chart set up here for sure. Next one's going to be ChargePoint Fatman Zoom, and this is one that I like ChargePoint, but really kind of more along the lines of kind of fits into the whole infrastructure energy sector. ChargePoint's definitely in that conversation. If you guys aren't familiar with ChargePoint, they have they build charging stations for electric vehicles, not just Teslas, but all of them, and they've really kind of focused more along the lines of residential charging stations rather than commercial. And I think that changes this time around. I think they start to emphasize a little bit more on the commercial side of things, parking lots, parking garages, that sort of thing, stadiums. I think we could start to see them pivot or at least start to expand into that. And we could hear from them as far as that's concerned, perhaps this month. Obviously, the infrastructure bill and the Biden administration wanting to put more of the stimulus dollars towards renewable energies. ChargePoint certainly benefits from that as well. I like this stock.
Something to consider as far as ChargePoint's concerned going into next week. Next week, Nuvei, which I talked about as a smaller competitor, reports earnings on Monday. Blink reports earnings on Wednesday. So just a little heads up for people that may be interested in it. I made great money on ChargePoint, could get back into it. Regardless of whether you like ChargePoint or not, I've said this time and time again, think about the infrastructure stocks that you're getting into. For me, ChargePoint is certainly on that list.
Yeah. We look at the chart here, and I think that I'm not quite sure I'm ready to buy this just yet. We talk about, this just being on our watch list for a reason, and it's just to watch to see where the setups are. And I think that we are not quite yet ready to buy ChargePoint. It's kind of a bit in no man's land. It's not quite oversold on RSI. It's not anywhere near the 50 or the 200-day moving averages. And so I'm not quite sure what direction this is headed in just yet. So I think this is just a watch, wait and see. If it does pull back to the $23 mark, the high $22 mark, around $22.70 to be more specific, that looks like a pretty decent support. If it holds that area, I think that could be a reasonable area to consider at least grabbing a starter or adding to, like ChargePoint there. The next one, Fat Man Zoom, for August, and we just talked about this, but it is Drive Shack. Drive Shack has earnings this week. And we explained, that there is some risks involved here because they've been spending a lot of money, in particular on their putteries. But I'm definitely forward looking here into just the demand, them getting back out. We've seen, at least I've seen on social media, so many people at like Topgolf. And, obviously Drive Shack is much smaller than that, but the demand remains the same. People are out doing stuff. Rory McIlroy has a $10 million stake in Drive Shack. I didn't catch too much of him on the Olympics, but obviously that exposure certainly helps things. And so with their earnings, I'm not necessarily expecting fireworks, but with the price point and where it's at right now and the amount of institutions coming in to invest in this longer term, I like the setup here.
Drive Shack, their success moving forward will be contingent upon puttery and whether the model sticks. It's not a foregone conclusion. I like the idea of the model. However, it remains to be seen how much success it has. So hopefully when it opens in DC, we can go check it out. Rory McIlroy's investment is specifically in the puttery. So the investment is directly for the puttery. So that clearly is their focus. I love that stock. Before you get into the technicals, just want to take a little bit of pause. Guys, this is just good stuff. We give away a free watch list just like this where Brad breaks down fundamentals, breaks down technicals. It's a free watch list. We send it out every morning before the market opens. So if you guys are interested, click on the description, the link in the description. That'll get you access to our free watch list. So guys, make sure you do that.
Please do.
All right, sorry, go ahead with the technical breakdown.
Yeah, sure. So the technicals actually are really good. I like that Drive Shack is held extremely well at this 200-day moving average. It just continues to flirt with this line here, represented by this purple line is the 200-day. So I really like this area. I like the fact that it's been holding here. If it drops below this, obviously it can get a little scary. But the fact that it's holding here is got me really encouraged. I think that we see some pretty solid guidance. I'm not necessarily looking for fireworks, but guidance is what I'm really hoping for on Drive Shack. My next one, Fat Man Zoom, is going to be Under Armour. Under Armour has earnings this week, and we saw some incredible retail numbers from Nike, Lululemon, Crocs, Ralph Lauren, all of them. And Levi has earnings this week, I think, too. And so all of these retail companies have just been knocking it out of the park, blowing these earnings out of the water because consumers are spending money. And so they're spending money on clothes. We talked about how kids are getting back into sports, so they're going to need athletic wear. People are getting back out. They need athleisure. So obviously Under Armour makes great products. And so it's a hometown hero favorite here in Baltimore. So I like this one as well. This has been beaten down so much that I think that the play here is definitely a good one.
All right, and what do we got for the technicals?
So the chart here looks good on Under Armour as well. This got beat down after their last earnings, and they crushed their last earnings and gave up beat guidance, but it's holding pretty well at the 200-day. I like this as a buy, even going into earnings.
All right, what do we got next?
The next one's going to be Airbnb. Airbnb obviously is going to be one that I think continues to do well. Travel is going to be crazy. If you try to find an Airbnb to stay at, it is not readily available. It's slim pickings out there. So Airbnb, the travel stocks in general, are going to continue to roll here. They have earnings this month, and I think it's going to be really good. I like the fact that it's back up over 140 firmly, and we could see nothing but upside from here.
Is Airbnb still one of your top 3 convictions?
It is.
All right.
Have a ton of it. The next one's going to be Clover, Fat Man Zoom. And I'm surprised we haven't brought this up yet in this entire stream because Clover has earnings this month as well. And it's back down to a clear buy level. $8 is an area that it's continued to hold up very nicely with brief drops down below that, maybe around $7.80. But anytime it drops below $8, I would be grabbing this with both hands. This looks great. I think their earnings are going to be good. We're hearing about how they're expanding their network, and more and more people have bullish outlooks on Clover. Obviously, healthcare is going to continue to rock and roll. The short interest on this thing continues to increase. I think this could very well easily be the next short squeeze. I like Clover this month as well. This $8 range seems like a solid buy from where it's at.
You know I love Clover, and it's tough because there's clearly manipulation going on here, and it's just really how long are you willing to let this thing play out?
Yeah.
And how patient you are. So, it's always been the key for me is always getting that thing above $10 for good. But I agree with you as far as scooping it up anytime below $8.
Like the last couple of weeks, the volume on this has been severely low. So some of the downward pressure has been clearly manipulated. I think we could see volume return leading up into earnings for sure. Walmart's going to be the next one, Fat Man Zoom. And this one also has been one that has been interesting. It's not anywhere near its all-time highs like a Costco. Like Costco has been going absolutely crazy. Why hasn't Walmart? And there's really no reason for why it's continuing to stay down here. Their earnings are this month as well, or this week. And we see earnings from them, and I think that people are going to be very pleased with this. They should have the same type of numbers as we're seeing from Costco and some of the other big box stores. I think there's some pretty decent upside potential for Walmart. I like it here at the 142 level. Expect this to see somewhere close to all-time highs leading into the end of the month.
Yeah, Walmart's an interesting one because I'm actually it's starting to begin that uptrend. I'm a little surprised that it isn't at its all-time highs.
Yeah.
But it's another one that long-term investing is a great stock.
Yeah, I agree. So the last one, and this one kind of snuck in there. This one is Disney. And so if you guys didn't catch the Disney numbers this past weekend, and this kind of ties into a little bit of the AMC crowd, and nobody shoot me for this, but let's just take a look at the headline here. Jungle Cruise takes in $34 million at the box office. Fat Man Zoom, $30 million for Disney Plus.
Wow, that's wild.
So they raked in $34 million going to a physical movie theater, and Disney Plus made $30 million. So it was 50-50. I mean, I feel like the AMC crowd has got to be unhappy about this. And so Disney is continuing to kill it here. I like they have earnings as well. The parks are going to be opening back up, and that was the number one revenue driver for Disney was the park revenue. Now they have this Disney Plus streaming service. This is a two-headed monster here, in my opinion. They're coming after Netflix and a lot of the other streaming services. They're all doing very well, but in my opinion, and I said this before, I think Disney is numero uno sometime in the near future, within the next 5 years as far as streaming services are concerned. And so you put those two together. I like Disney, and I like it this month because of the parks opening back up. I think we see some really solid numbers out of them and really upbeat guidance.
You're not concerned at all about the parks actually delaying opening due to this?
I'm not, only because I think it's temporary, especially with the Delta variant and what we're seeing overseas, how that's playing out.
Disney, I'm glad you brought up the box office numbers versus their streaming. I think this is going to be their key competitive advantage as we move forward, is their ability to offer their specific content and to charge for it, like pre-release, right? The premium, I guess they call it the premium, as far as you can pay like $29.99 to get the movie at the same time as it hits theaters.
And it's still cheaper than going to the theater. You can have all of your family members. You can have a big old watch party. You spend $30. You go to your local store and get the candy you need that you don't have to spend $50 for at the movie theater. Why would you go?
Yeah. I pulled a couple comments that I just want to, regarding this watch list, the top stocks list for August. Claudia R says, Drive Shack, I might wait till after earnings to get back in for sure. Oliver Thorpe grabbed a starter on ChargePoint, but it could hit 20 again before it hits 30, in my opinion. Maybe. Alexa, I feel like I have to invest in Drive Shack to be in this club. Stephen
Yes.
Boysel said could see trimming out of Drive Shack at like 6. Yeah, if Drive Shack.
Oh my God.
If it gets to 6, if you're not trimming, I don't know what you're smoking.
Play with house money at that point.
Alan says 250 on Drive Shack has been a good thing. It has played out really well.
Yeah.
Primetime DJ loves Palantir. Chicago Kenny agrees on your Palantir. He said commercial side is going to be bolstered by a new sales team. Claudia for Clover says it's like a romantic relationship roller coaster of emotions.
Claudia for Clover. I feel like that's a slogan.
Yeah. Primetime. Clover can see 6 again, not buying at 8. Maybe see 6. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's very possible. I think unlikely, though. Bruce, And Oliver Thorpe said, Disney will smash it the next few years. Home cinema, baby.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think
guys.
So too.
So those are the top stocks for August. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Write in the comments stocks you're looking at for August. What didn't we check out? What do you think is going to be hot? What's going to move for the end of the month? Should be a really, really interesting month. And that leads into my last question. What do you expect for August? Sarah asked, is there a market crash coming in August?
No, there's not. We've already seen a bunch of chop in July. The S&P, the Dow, the indexes themselves. It was very rough month of July. I don't think it necessarily just flips like a switch into August. We could see another week, maybe week and a half of some choppiness here and there, especially as people are still fearful of this Delta variant. But I think that there are brighter days ahead for August, and I think that we see a huge move into the next half of the year. Historically, we look at runs that we saw like in the first half of the year, that 13% move after a crash.
Yeah.
Historically, we see strong markets continue to be strong in the second half of the year after a choppy July, August.
Well, there you guys have it.
S&P makes another 10% in the second half.
Did we hit our goal, by the way?
We did hit our goal. We got 105 likes in the house with 180 of you guys hanging out. Thanks so much, guys, for allowing us to be a part of your Sunday evening. If you guys are new, haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that and hitting the notification bell so you get notified when we go live tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll be live every day through Thursday. The same time, we'll give our live earnings reactions plus whatever's going on in the market that day, and we certainly would appreciate it, again, if you hit that thumbs up. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out. We will see you tomorrow, Fat Man Zoom. Anything else?
Guys, make sure you're here next Sunday because our community buy car lots is one of the earnings that we're going to be talking about next week. So be here next Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Guys, thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Miguel, we definitely talk about cybersecurity. You're smoking crack, bro.
All the time.
What are you talking about?
See ya.
Bruh.